Do you have any advice as a sex symbol of 40 years standing to David?
Well, I think he does pretty well on his own. He has got a big advantage on me. He married somebody in the show business. I didn't.
You didn't? No. You nearly did. Well, you nearly.
Well.
But
that was close enough.
That was close enough, yeah. But I mean, that actually changed your life in a sense, didn't it? I mean, it gave you kind of the exposure that he gets now, that he and Posh get, that sort of popular thing.
Yeah, except that at the time I was not as well known as I became later on.
Yes.
It was a little bit difficult. But then I had to prove I was right.
Yes. Now, the other thing that the three of you got in common here, apart from being sex symbols, is in fact that all three of you, I shall have my way, don't worry. All three of you knew you wanted.
Sex.
I am obsessed. It's terrible. You noticed this, have you?
Oh, every program. Vanessa Feltz
question.
was on. It was sex, 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 sex. Oh, there's something. It's hormones.
The more interesting things to talk about. No, what I've got to say is that all three of you all knew you wanted to be from a very early age. You particularly, didn't you? You wanted to be a musician.
You know, I was listening to the show just earlier on, and I said that David and I have a lot in common, in fact. The family ambiance from the start was very, very similar, I think. Then to be wanting to have a foyer and children is something I always wanted to have myself, and I succeeded at that also. And being devoted to what he does, you ask him whether he always thought he would be a footballer. And I can not think of having thought anything except being a musician.
A musician, yes.
That's a very lot of...
Your family's interesting. Tell us a story about your family, because you grew up in occupied Germany. It's a good story.
Well, you know, I had an uncle, was my mother brother's, was a very big star. He was a band leader.
Yes,
we had a great orchestra with a lot of famous people that became famous in their great stars there. And so I was interested in music. Then my parents were selling electric supplies. And they had one of their stores was on the Marché aux Puces, which is a flea market in Paris. So on the Sunday, I was not going to school, and they were working. The flea market works on Saturdays, Sundays, and Monday. So they would take me to my uncle's, my grandparents, my uncle who still lived there, and all that Sunday, all day, I was listening to those wonderful songs, beautiful music. So for me, it was exactly what I wanted. Then, unfortunately, I was still very young. The war happened. Yeah. And my mother was taken in jail for the German by French people, which for the 9-year-old kid I was very difficult.
She was taken to a camp, was she?
Yes, but in Paris, thank God. So, and that went on for 19 months. And my father was hiding. So I was sent into a priest college in the provinces. And for 2 years, I had no idea what my parents had become, you know. So it was... when we came to from 9 years old to 11, it's a little bit difficult. But you still realize, you know, you're old enough to realize. Then you're just caught in between what people tell you, and can you trust them, and not knowing, I mean, a lack of affection, of course.
What happened in 1944 then, with the liberation?
Well, I was in that priest college, and then the Allied forces came to France, you know, invaded, I mean, started to fight the Germans back to their countries. And the priest said, well, go home, all go home. He said, I was there, home. I was like 400 kilometers. Laval, second division, very good club. The head of second division. And what do? And a maid we had at home before the war was living in a neighborhood, in the district, same district there. So I took my little bicycle, and no, I didn't take any dope or anything. I just went on my 16 kilometers and then found that girl. And just later on, my grandparents sent for me, and very happily, you know, I could be with them because they were hiding as well, but in a different place. And I stayed there for a couple of months.
Still not knowing what had happened to your parents?
Not knowing anything.
So now it's not...
No, because a lot of those people that were in jail by the German were sent to camps, and we never knew what happened.
You never saw them again. And then
in one morning, great moment, you know, I was in a little house that was there, my grandparents, and there was just an alley going to the main road, and I see two people coming in, you know, a tall, slim gentleman, like him in a way, but darker, and a very lovely little lady with white hair, still in the family here, and that was my parents, and I jumped out the window. Oh, Daddy, Mommy, Maman, Papa. And that's one of the greatest moments in my life.
What did your mother tell you about what had happened to her?
Well, you know, she was Jewish, so she had the yellow star that, you know, they had to wear in those days, and they never quite understood why, because there was a lot of people, you know, accusing you, French people, of course, and of being a resistant, which, I mean, every French was resistant anyway, every French man, all women. So that's probably what happened, you know, just, and then the German would, in those days, take any reason to catch people, and he needed workers. You know, she was in a camp where there were all the things that were stolen or taken in the apartments of people being in jail, resistant Jewish and whoever, passed by them. They had to send furnitures in the city in Germany, the paintings, and she was a painter herself, and pianist, and she saw her piano, she saw the paintings, she saw all her brothers and family's stuff there going there.
And I suppose also she saw colleagues being selected and taken away. And
so the next thing that happened, you know, when everything was happily finished on that side, and I had to go back to college. And in France, we have a system where you take 2 languages. So they made me learn German as the first language. They say, they're coming back to invade us every 20 years, so next time you'll be ready.
Right, now, and now you're in Chicago. You've done, I mean, this...
Now I'm an American lawyer.
An American lawyer in Chicago. A fast-talking, wisecracking Yank lawyer in Chicago. And waited all this time to do a musical.
Oh, yeah, well, I haven't been asked before. But I'm not trying to force the American thing. I said, what? How do you explain that an American lawyer in Chicago, 1912, will have a French accent?
Yes.
Well, they know it's Sacha Distel. They know what to expect.
Right, so I'm going to finish on this theme of sex symbols, actually, because it does obsess me. And, I mean, it's the old, I mean, you know, it's quite the language of love, the French. I mean, they have the best time of all, don't they? I mean, women just wilt. It's just the voice, isn't it? All you need to do is sort of look at the woman and go, ho, ho, ho. And it's...
you know what
very sad, isn't
you know
it?
what the French say? Oh, you're in England.
Yeah, well, I mean, why do we like you? We don't like the French or the English, but we like you. I mean, what is it about you, I wonder?
Well, I don't know whether French like English. I think they do, in fact. But I personally do a lot. I think we've been working in this country for the audiences you have in my part of life, which is music and show. I think really, I mean, I really enjoy it and love it every time.
Yeah. Well, you're very, very welcome here all the time. Of course you are.
Thank you.
I think it's language. I mean, language helps as well. I mean, in German, it's difficult. I mean, in Russian, say I love you in Russian is "Я люблю тебя." It sounds like a fart in the past.
I think it's nice. My father said that to my mother.
Oh, well, it worked then.
And it worked.
Have you ever tried to impersonate? You know, they say he laughed them into bed or he sang them into bed. Have you ever tried to impersonate them into bed?
Not since your wife, I don't think.
No. All right, Sacha, so you're night off tonight from Chicago, and then back on the show again, and then you're here for what, 6 months?
Not on Sunday.
Not on Sunday.
Not tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. No. And then after that, what?
Well, that will lead me till the 17th of March.
Yes.
So that'd be another year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Great. Okay. Well, Sacha Distel, thank you very much indeed. Much enjoyed talking.
My
Sacha.
pleasure.
My thanks to Sacha Distel, Rory Bremner, and David Beckham from all of us here. Very good night. Good night.
Next week, Michael is joined by Betty Boothroyd, Terry Wogan and Harry Enfield when Parkinson returns next Saturday night. Tomorrow night, join us for the savage and witty tale of love in a cold climate and find out if the quest for love ends in happiness or heartache. Love in a Cold Climate concludes 8:30 tomorrow night. Stay with us now for Love Hurts.